Alright gang, here's the 1980 xl1000. I put a 3.1 gallon gas tank on it. I gotta put a spring on the side stand. That's no fun. Looks like the guy extended the front end maybe 6 inches. It's a coronavirus buy. People cashing out everything. And then here's another wreck I picked up. This one here, I had to get a rim off of eBay and a new 14-inch 185 or R1470 tire. That looks like it was in a side collision of some sort. It's a pretty abused car. It's got floor pans from the UK that the guy bought, and he just got scared and gave it up. But here's the engine. I bought it just to get the power plant, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I got it for nothing, so. But it's a Spica fuel injection. It's kind of like a glorified diesel pump for regular fuel. Some people really like them. I prefer carbureted. The less I gotta repair, the better. So this thing sat outside forever. The engine's free, it rotates, and believe it or not, the brakes are actually functional, which really surprised me. Here, another damage in the front, and I'm looking to get a fender, or not a fender, a hood. Saw one on eBay, but I thought maybe I'll try and find something local. There's no hood for the thing, or excuse me, there's no hood, and there is no top, but those are cheap parts. I had a diesel shop rebuild this diesel pump, and I went through the starting procedure of pumping this guy. This is a hand plunger that came from Bosch. The Monark hand pump that Mercedes Source sells is much better, gives greater volume, and for the first time in 5 years I've gotten fuel out of here, and I got fuel to finally show up here. So I've got some Monarch pencil glow plugs coming from Hamburg, and I think that will start this car, which is really kind of a big deal. And then I'll try getting the brakes serviced. This is a 1959 180 diesel. It's been a real nightmare, but it's closing in. I might have to get some new injectors too if I can't get fuel into the glow plug region. So we'll see. It's a slow mover. I rebuilt the gas tank, the radiator, now the fuel pump, and I've got a yellow AGM, or no, it's a gel Optima battery. No, it is an AGM, yeah. So I'm not really a fan of AGM batteries, but I don't know, we'll see. It's been a good battery for me. It's really heavy, so if you're kind of a lightweight person, that's probably not the battery for you. But anyway, maybe on the next YouTube I'll have this running. That'd be a big deal. I'm sure it's gonna smoke, but you always wonder what the hell got into the minds of these people. You know, like they did this half-ass approach doing body work on this thing, and God, at least put the damn thing into primer, you know. Oh well, that's gonna be a low priority now until I get some other shit done. That's kind of a neat car. It's a 74 Alfa Romeo Spider 2.0 fuel injected Spica, and then here's the 29101, which runs, but I gotta get a bolt for the carburetor because it's leaking fuel and it's a fire source, fire hazard. Asshole that sold me it, the engine, swapped out the cams and fucked it up so it doesn't run right. So I'm gonna have to work on that. People are always out to fuck you. You know, they'll just do anything to make a buck. You know, just quit fucking worshiping money. You know. But here it is. It's a really cool one. It's got modified oil pump on it from a 30s bike, but this is a 29. And I scored some gas tanks, which I thought I was going to use. There's a coffin tank, and there's an old Sportster tank, 60s, 70s. I'm not going to be using those. But anyway, this is that 6970. It's turns out it's called a Sahara BMW 2002. And it's a sunroof top. And then I check this out. This is really cool. I don't know if I did a video on this one yet. But I ran a local ad, and a fellow an hour north of me delivered me an engine and trans. So this is going to go in it as soon as I get an engine stand. That's going to be fun work. Fun never ends around here. And this is Kaiser. He likes biting things. He's a year old now. Him and his brother. Baron. But anyway, here's the 2002. I sold the extra parts that I don't need, I'll never need, and so now the car is basically free. It's getting there. Here's the dog's pool. It's 100 degrees out here every day, so you know, just gonna put some fresh water in there. But But yeah, that shovel head, or excuse me, iron head, that's going to be a fun bike, I think. It's really too bad with this coronavirus disaster that people are just cashing in anything to survive. But, oh well. I'm kind of concerned about one thing here. I see a little bit of an oil leak there, so we'll see if we can fire it up, and if it fires up, great. And if it has problems, then we're going to pull the top off and see what's going on. It's just I got to lower this thing, and I don't know, I don't really work on these kind of bikes, so I'm going to have to get some sort of tool to lower this. It's just too tall. It's too high off the ground for comfortable riding. But it should be a comfortable bike. And then, let's see, I've been learning how to paint cars. So I painted my 87 Nissan 4x4. I took a wire wheel brush, went through the car, the truck, and took off all the rust. And then I built this up here with fiberglass and some of the other holes. It was a lot cheaper than buying a whole new bed. And then I POR 15 painted the bed of the truck, which I think really turned out good. I should have done this years ago. And so I had to get another door. Turns out the manual and the power door, it's the same thing. It's just different components that you put on the door. So it's just one door. It's either, and then you just put either manual or power components on it. I couldn't get this really finished right, so, but that's okay. It's just a work truck. But so I painted it with a self-etching primer, like about 6 to 8 coats of that, and then I hit it with a sealer, which is a darker gray, and I'm gonna just drive it like this for a year and see if I have any rust. And but these Nissans are just great trucks. This guy's got like 275,000 miles. And I painted down here with a POR 15 paint too. So, and then I repaired this with the fiberglass, and it really turned out pretty good for an amateur, you know. Yeah. that's the 1960 190 diesel. That thing fires up and runs every day. It's just the guy was building on it, and some old timer, and he passed away, and his grandson sold it to me. So I need door handles and tail lights, and I've got the head gasket and the pistons and the rings because it's a smoker. But it's a neat car. It's definitely not a Porsche, but it's fun. Anyway, there's some of the wrecks, some of my projects I'm working on. But the Alfa's, it's a neat one. It's kind of sad because it's really a bitchin' cool car. But you know, I've found these cars running in really good shape for like $6 grand. But the power plants are worth at least $2,500, $3,000 all day. And I'll probably deal it off, but we'll see. I've just got too many projects, and I'm never gonna get to them all. But it's a really neat one. These cars are really cool if you can find them to buy, and I'd like to get a Duetto too, so that would be cool. Alfas are just so much easier to work on. It's the easiest car you could ever work on, and there's a huge following for parts. Lots of good people make upgraded parts. But you know, it's just like you look at the shit this guy must have done. I mean, who does this kind of shit, you know? Like my neighbor's kids do that kind of shit. And so it's a 74. It's pretty hammered, but it's, you know, that's not a car you should just dump in a landfill. You know, that's a neat car. That's worth tinkering with and bringing it back to life, and yeah, and all the parts that you can get online. Just anything you can think of, you can find for these cars. Yeah, and it's cheap. It's not like Porsche prices. So there it is. This seat is just hideous. I don't know. They just got nobody that could really design shit back in the 80s. You know, that seat's just hideous, and the thing's way high off the ground compared to a 101. But these bikes are really cheap. You know, you can get these bikes for nothing now. You know, these were like the cheap, like 45 Harleys were back in, you know, the 80s, 90s, 70s. Like these shovelhead Sportsters are just showing up cheap, and they're definitely worth buying. But anyway, this one's got to get lowered somehow so it's more comfortable to ride. But that's a neat bike. So there it is, gang. Some more wrecks. I got too much stuff. I've got to cut loose with some stuff, but not the good stuff. I'm never gonna part with the 101. That's a fun bike, although it's the worst one I've ever had. You know, first gear feels like fifth gear. Yeah, but we'll get it resolved. I will get it resolved. But anyway, but yeah, you put the stock gas tank on that 80 XL1000, and it just is so tiny. So this 3.1 gallon is the way to go. Balances out the bike and gives you more range. But anyway, look at the engine again here. So I think I found this on the local classifieds. People are scared of projects because they don't know anything. You know, the more you educate yourself on how to do stuff, the easier stuff is. You just got to learn how to do it and ask questions, and if you're in doubt about a part that doesn't work, just replace it, because it probably doesn't work if the rest of it looks like this. But yeah, I was really surprised that brake assembly was still functional. And it still had oil in it, it still spins. I'm thinking that the spica probably failed and the guy parked it. And but you can see the spica looks like a kind of fuel pump you see in a diesel, which is basically what it is, glorified diesel pump. That's what I would call it. But Alfa Romeos are just so neat, especially the older ones. You know, so much more metal and not plastic. But, alright, gang. I should have another foster dog here pretty soon. I don't choose them, the rescue chooses them, and then I just take care of them until they find homes. They all find homes, so there's no excuse for killing dogs and cats. So, alright gang, we will catch you on the next YouTube. Sorry about the comments thing. If you know how to fix it, you can send me an email. For some reason YouTube is silenced comments. I don't know how to say that. You don't have an option to put comments on there anymore. I don't know, at least they've done that to my account. So, and that, there it is. Catch you next time.